It is not a three-way title fight per se. You see, Ferrari is in a very interesting position. They are 36 points behind McLaren Mercedes, but they are also only 13 points ahead of Red Bull Racing. And anything could happen in the last final triple header of this season, and Ferrari could finish P1, P2, or P3 thanks to the delicate balance between car performance and driver skills of all of the three teams. We have non-championship winning driver in championship winning cars. We have drivers who have forgotten how to drive. We have teams that don't know how to pull strategies. This is what Formula One is all about. It's all about having a balance. It's a little bit of everything, and that's what makes this exciting. Let's look at the strengths and weaknesses of each of these three teams ahead of the final triple header of this surprisingly thrilling Formula One season, and make some speculations along the way to see who can finish where. So let's start with McLaren Mercedes, the championship leaders. I think their strength is quite obvious. They have the fastest car on the grid, and their race pace is amazing, especially both of the McLarens come alive in the second half of the race and they're flying. They're like a second a lap quick or something like that. But there is a reason why they're still under attack from Ferrari. There's a reason why their gap is not higher than it could have been, and it is the weaknesses that they have. Number one is the worrying form of both of their drivers, or the worrying performance of both of their drivers, and number two is their reactive approach to everything. So let's talk about the driver performance bit first. We know the problems with Lando Norris, right? He cannot start well. He qualifies well, but he cannot start well. And in the first one third of the race, he kind of like loses a lot of ground. He is not good under pressure. He's also not good when he is not under pressure. Like in Singapore, he almost crashed twice. And after the race, he said that sometimes it can be that you are just chilling too much. Maybe it's a bit of both. I don't know what it is, but it's tricky. That's what he said after almost crashing in Singapore with no pressure from behind. And Oscar Piastri can't qualify well, or even if he qualifies well, there is something in the race. There's too many mistakes here and there. He is not able to pull complete clean weekends. Like in Mexico, he had a good race. He started from like P17 and finished P8, but he bottled the qualifying, and he did the same thing in Brazil as well. I mean, it was less worse in Brazil, but in Brazil, again, like overall, he was a little bit scrappy throughout the weekend. And the second problem, as I mentioned, was their reactive approach to the pit stop strategies and a little bit of everything else. In the British Grand Prix, they were waiting for others to make their decisions, and then they made their decision. They did not pit Piastri a lap earlier because double stacking would have cost them 4 seconds. So they let him do another lap in those inter tires in dry conditions, which cost him 15 seconds. And that's why they could lose their lead in the upcoming final triple header. And some people might say, no, McLaren are too fast. They cannot lose 36 points in 3 races, averaging 12 points per race. In the past, in the previous triple header, the America's triple header, they lost 39 points to Ferrari. So I think 36 points could definitely happen. Like that is a possibility. They could be runners up in both of the championships. And let's now talk about Ferrari, enough about the papaya team. Ferrari has 2 things going on for them. The first one is they have a good enough car. It's not like their car sucks. It's not like it is. Yes, on certain circuits they struggle. Like in Brazil, they struggled. In Austin and Mexico, they're great. Yes, in the second half of the race, McLaren are quite pacey, but it really worked out for them. Like they don't have a terrible car like Mercedes. They have a good enough car, and the other thing is their drivers are good. Their drivers are experienced and comfortable in chaotic situations, and they are quite capable of pulling out the maximum performance out of the car, or even outdriving the car with terrible tires in some conditions. But their weakness, as we all know, is their inability to pull a decent strategy or plan a decent strategy. And there are too many examples. The most recent one in Brazil, they fitted some used intermediate tires on Carlos Sainz. He asked it on the radio. These are like he suspected it on the radio, and he inquired about it. Radio silence, and a few moments later, he is in the barriers. And in that weekend, interestingly, in the Brazilian Grand Prix weekend, both of the Ferrari scored 20 points. Max Verstappen alone scored 31 points. That goes to show that 13-point lead that they have over Red Bull, it's really nothing. Now, it is even more challenging for the final triple header, because in Austin and in Mexico, Max Verstappen was troubling Lando Norris. In the final triple header, Max Verstappen is not going to be as aggressive. Max Verstappen has already said that I just want clean races till the end of the season, because he already has a healthy 62-point lead over Lando, his title rival, right? So now Ferrari has to face actual competition in McLaren and Red Bull, rather than bank on the possibility of Red Bull trying to ruin the race of McLaren. More specifically, Max trying to ruin the race of Lando, but that's probably not going to happen anymore. And finally, let's talk about Red Bull Racing. The only good thing they have going on is Max Verstappen outdriving the car. But at the same time, they need to do something about that second Red Bull seat. And here is my suggestion. This is what you do if you're Red Bull, okay? You play musical chairs, all right? There are 3 races left. Daniel Ricciardo, Liam Lawson, Yuki Tsunoda, each of them get to drive the Red Bull for one of the 3 events of their choosing. Like, they can discuss among themselves, and they need to drive one. Like for Daniel, it'll be a good thank you, goodbye, that type of tribute thing. They can make it special. For Yuki Tsunoda and Liam Lawson, it'll be like a test. You are coming in, you need to deliver. We are fighting for the runnership position in the constructor standings. How much can you deliver? I think it'll be fun. Like, Red Bull should definitely consider orchestrating something like that, because with or without the second seat, they are coming P3 in the constructors. The second seat should at least help them get to P2. The potential was P1, definitely. Personally, I think Ferrari is gonna win. Like, it'll be funny if Ferrari wins. That's why I want Ferrari to win. I'll be cheering for them, because I want McLaren to lose both of the championships. How cocky they have been, how, throwing caution to the wind. When Lando Norris said that it was like sometimes you're chilling too much, like right after the Singapore Grand Prix, and when he said that, oh, it is not talent, it is just luck after Brazil, I want McLaren to lose both of the championships. And also for what they did to Oscar in Italy. He could have won that race. So again, I absolutely would enjoy if McLaren loses both of the championships with the fastest car on the grid. Let me know your thoughts in the comment below. Who do you want to win, and how you see this? I mean, it's not a 3-way title fight, but like where Ferrari would end up by the end of this season. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you later.